Dhaka in August 2024 after the fall of Sheikh Hasina's government. 8 months later, the nightmare of the Hindu minority community continues in Bangladesh. Hello and welcome to Connecting the Dots. I'm Unman Bhattacharya. Let's connect the dots of the continued targeting of minorities, particularly Hindus, in Bangladesh. Just days ago, 58-year-old Bhabesh Chandra Roy, a prominent leader of the Hindu community, was abducted and murdered in the Dinajpur area of Bangladesh near the border with India. Bhavesh's family alleges Roy received a phone call and 30 minutes later he was abducted from his home by 4 men on motorbikes. Eyewitnesses say he was taken to a nearby village where he was brutally assaulted. Later in the evening, he was brought back home in a van and then rushed to a nearby hospital. Doctors declared him dead on arrival. His inconsolable wife, Shantana Roy, blames local radical Islamists for killing her husband.
They kidnapped my husband from our house. We are helpless. They hold powerful position in this area. I have no one to help me.
While Bhavesh's wife and son allege foul play in his death, pointing to injury marks around his neck when he was brought home, the police has come up with a totally different version of natural death. Dhaka-based newspaper The Daily Star reported the story of Bhavesh's abduction and murder, but quickly retracted it. Analysts say it had buckled under pressure of authorities that wanted a false narrative to be spread. So who was Bhabesh Chandra Roy? He was a well-respected leader of the local Hindu community in Dinajpur. He served as vice president of the Biral unit of the Bangladesh Puja Udjapan Parishad. That's a body that mobilizes members of the Hindu community across Bangladesh for religious festivals. And what was Bhavesh's so-called crime? Well, his only quote-unquote crime was being a vocal Hindu in today's Bangladesh. India's Ministry of External Affairs pointed to the pattern of systematic persecution of Hindus in Bangladesh and no accountability for perpetrators of previous such incidents. India asked the Yunus government to protect all minorities without inventing excuses or making distinctions. Roy's killing is not an isolated incident. Large-scale persecution of Hindus has been happening in Bangladesh since Sheikh Hasina was ousted as Prime Minister and forced to flee to India. Take for instance the arrest of Chinmoy Krishna, a Hindu ISKCON priest in Dhaka. Bangladeshi authorities arrested him in November on sedition charges. Das had become an eyesore for the Bangladeshi authorities as he is a prominent monk who was leading protests against atrocities on Hindus in Bangladesh. He was also calling for key reforms such as a minority protection law, a tribunal for fast-tracking cases of minority persecution, and the establishment of a dedicated Ministry of Minority Affairs. Hindus demonstrated in large numbers against his arrest. India's Ministry of External Affairs issued this statement. It is unfortunate that while the perpetrators of attacks on minorities remain at large, charges should be pressed against a religious leader presenting legitimate demands through peaceful gatherings. India also flagged attacks on minorities protesting peacefully against Das's arrest. Das's lawyer says he has been getting death threats. The Hindu community is speaking out against Bhavesh's murder and other anti-Hindu atrocities.
जो बांग्लादेश में हो रहा है हम सभी देख रहे हैं कि कितना दुखद है। चिन्मय कृष्ण दास जो एक साधु हैं वो सिर्फ ये डिमांड कर रहे थे कि माइनॉरिटीज़ हिंदूज़ हैं और जो अन्य माइनॉरिटीज़ हैं उनके ऊपर कोई हमला ना हो, उनके जान माल की रक्षा हो। तो देखिए उनको भी 5 महीने से वो जेल के पीछे में हैं और यहाँ तक कि जो कोर्ट में उनके वकील जा रहे हैं उनको डेट नहीं मिल रहा है। और ये जो हमने खबर सुनी आज सवेरे सुनी कि जो एक हिंदू लीडर थे मिस्टर रॉय, उनको किस तरह से पहले किडनैप किया गया और फिर बहुत बुरी तरह से पीट कर मार दिया गया। तो ये जो लीडरशिप जो है, हिंदू लीडरशिप है या जो माइनॉरिटीज़ का जो लोगों को नेतृत्व दे रहे हैं, उनके जब लीडर को ही इस तरह से किसी को कैद में रख दिया जा रहा है, किसी की हत्या कर दी जा रही है, ये जानबूझ के कर रहे हैं उनको टारगेट की वो जो बाकी माइनॉरिटीज़ हैं वो एकदम डर जाएं और वो जो भी चाहते हैं उसके सामने वो लोग अपने आप को सबमिट कर दें.
It's a fact that Bangladesh has a long history of persecution of Hindus, and now space for Hindus is only shrinking further there as democracy declines. The oppression of Hindus in Bangladesh has been a constant feature in its history, both when it was still East Pakistan and since its independence. From 1971 to 2024, an estimated 10,000 Hindus were killed or grievously injured by Hinduphobic Muslims. As a result of persecution by radical Islamists, the population of Hindus in Bangladesh has fallen from 22% in 1951 to less than 8% at present. For decades, the Hindus largely backed Sheikh Hasina's Awami League party due to its perceived secular image in contrast to the opposition bloc. Now things have gotten worse again under the watch of Muhammad Yunus. India's Ministry of External Affairs told Parliament that over 2,400 minority-related incidents were reported from August 2024 to March 2025. In fact, after Sheikh Hasina's ouster, Muslim mobs specifically targeted Hindus, their homes, properties and places of worship. Many Hindus were forced to resign from their jobs. Instances of rapes of Hindu women have come to light. Even those Hindus who were members of the opposition Bangladesh Nationalist Party or BNP were not spared. And not only Hindus, even Buddhists and Christians as well as their places of worship were targeted. But Muhammad Yunus continues to downplay reports of rising attacks on minorities in his country. He claims most of them are completely exaggerated and baseless propaganda. But a United Nations report exposes Yunus by detailing incidents of targeted mob attacks and arson on Hindus. Amnesty International has called for immediate action to protect Hindus and other minority communities in Bangladesh. So what is India doing about it? India has dismissed the empty rhetoric of Muhammad Yunus. It is asking his government to fix accountability for atrocities against minorities. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi raised the issue with Yunus when the two leaders met in Bangkok on the sidelines of the 6th BIMSTEC summit.
Prime Minister also underlined India's concerns related to the safety and security of minorities in Bangladesh, including Hindus, and expressed his expectation that the government of Bangladesh would ensure their security, including by thoroughly investigating all cases of atrocities committed against them.
Protection of minorities has been a recurring theme in conversations that India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri have had with their Bangladeshi counterparts. India expects all perpetrators of killings, arson and violence against minorities to be brought to justice. But there is little hope for justice as the role of the Yunus government itself is suspect. What explains provocative anti-India rhetoric by Islamic preachers and senior figures of organizations like the Jamaat-e-Islami that are closely aligned with the Yunus government? Does it not mean that the Bangladesh government backs these rabid Islamist elements in their bid to spread hatred against Hindus and India? Fingers have also been pointed to Pakistan ISI's role in fueling unrest in Bangladesh. Clearly, the Yunus government has a lot to answer for. Let's begin with a quick quiz. Do you know which animal is the fastest on land? Most of you might already know the answer. It is the cheetah. These big cats are known across the world for their incredible speed. A cheetah can run up to 120 kilometers per hour. That's faster than most cars driving through city traffic. But what gives the cheetah this amazing speed? The answer lies in its unique body structure. Cheetahs have a lightweight frame, long legs, and a flexible spine. The spine acts like a spring. It stretches and contracts with every stride, helping them cover more ground quickly. They also have large nostrils, which allow more oxygen to enter their body while running. And their long, muscular tail helps them stay balanced and change direction at high speeds. But here's something you may not know. Cheetahs were once found in India too. Yes, cheetahs lived in India for centuries, but sadly, they were declared extinct in the country in 1952. So where can we find cheetahs today? According to the International Union for Conservation of Nature, or IUCN, only about 6,500 cheetahs remain in the wild. Most of them live in Africa, especially in South Africa, Namibia and Botswana. Now here's some exciting news. Indian scientists are working to bring back the Indian cheetah. They are planning to do this with the help of gene technology. The Birbal Sahni Institute of Paleosciences in Lucknow is teaming up with the Zoological Survey of India. Their goal is to revive the extinct Indian cheetah's traits using gene editing. So how will this work? Scientists plan to identify key traits of the extinct Indian cheetah by studying its genetic material. Then they will edit these genes and insert them into the embryos of African cheetahs. These embryos will be implanted in surrogate mothers to give birth to cubs with Indian cheetah traits. The idea is inspired by a recent project in the United States. An American company called Colossal Biosciences has successfully brought back the dire wolf, a species that disappeared more than 10,000 years ago. The dire wolf was bigger than the modern grey wolf. To bring it back, scientists first studied ancient DNA from fossils. Then they used CRISPR technology to edit the genes of a grey wolf. They changed about 20 parts of its genetic code. That edited DNA was placed into an egg cell from a domestic dog. The embryo developed, and after 62 days, 3 dire wolf pups were born. They were named Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi. Back in India, earlier studies have already isolated mitochondrial DNA from both Indian and African cheetahs. This helps scientists compare and understand their genetic differences. Now let's talk about India's present efforts. Today, the only cheetahs in India are those brought from Namibia and South Africa under Project Cheetah during 2022 and 2023. Let's listen in to Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
आज भारत की धरती पर चीता लौट आए हैं और मैं ये भी कहूंगा कि इन चीतों के साथ ही भारत की प्रकृति प्रेमी चेतना भी पूरी शक्ति से जागृत हो उठी है.
A total of 20 cheetahs were introduced in Kuno National Park located in Madhya Pradesh. In the coming months, India is planning to bring 8 more cheetahs from Botswana.
कूनो नेशनल पार्क में जब चीता फिर से दौड़ेंगे तो यहाँ का ग्रासलैंड इकोसिस्टम फिर से रिस्टोर होगा, बायोडायवर्सिटी और बढ़ेगी. आने वाले दिनों में यहां इको टूरिज्म भी बढ़ेगा. आज ये चीते मेहमान बनकर आए हैं, इस क्षेत्र से अनजान है. कूनो नेशनल पार्क को ये चीते अपना घर बना पाए, इसके लिए हमें इन चीतों को भी कुछ महीने का समय देना होगा.
Recently, 2 6-year-old cheetahs were moved from Kuno to the Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary. This sanctuary is about 250 kilometers away from Kuno. So why did cheetahs disappear from India in the first place? Cheetahs once roamed freely across India's grasslands. In fact, the first cheetah to be bred in captivity anywhere in the world was in India during the reign of Mughal Emperor Jahangir in the 16th century. His father, Emperor Akbar, wrote that there were around 10,000 cheetahs during his rule, and 1,000 of them were kept in his royal court. So what happened? It is believed that the cheetahs vanished from India in 1947 when Maharaja Ramanuj Pratap Singh Deo of Korea in present-day Chhattisgarh shot and killed the last 3 known Asiatic cheetahs. In 1952, the Indian government officially declared the species extinct.
1947 में जब देश में केवल आखिरी 3 चीते बचे थे, तो उनका भी साल के जंगलों में निष्ठुरता और गैर जिम्मेदारी से शिकार कर लिया गया। ये दुर्भाग्य रहा कि हमने 1952 में चीतों को देश से विलुप्त तो घोषित कर दिया।
Cheetahs were found almost everywhere in India except in the high Himalayan regions, but they were hunted heavily both for sport and reward. Many were also killed during the British period, especially when they entered villages and attacked livestock. Apart from overhunting, shrinking grasslands and the loss of natural prey also led to their decline. India was not alone in losing its cheetahs. Since the 1940s, cheetahs have disappeared from 14 other countries, including Jordan, Iraq, Morocco, Syria, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. But now, with the help of modern science, India is taking steps to bring back a species that once roamed its plains. If the gene editing plan succeeds, the Indian cheetah could once again run wild on its home soil. That's all in this edition of Connecting the Dots. We'll see you in the next episode with more raging issues. Until then, it's a goodbye from all of us in the Delhi newsroom. This is Munmun Bhattacharya signing off. Take care and stay safe.